everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. So here's a question we get constantly. Can you just buy a house in the US and get a green card? I mean, it's a huge topic, and honestly, there's a lot of myth and confusion out there. So today, we're going to cut right through all that noise and give you the real story behind investment-based residency. All right, so this is the big one, the myth we really have to bust right off the bat. You see that gorgeous house, maybe it's in Miami, maybe LA, and you think to yourself, hey, if I just buy this, can I stay? It feels like it should work, right? But the reality, well, it's just a bit more complicated than that. So let's just get right to it. The short answer? No. Simply buying a house on its own is not going to get you a visa. But, and this is a really important but, a very specific kind of investment actually can. See, there's an official government program that links investment with residency, and that's exactly what we're going to dive into. And that leads us straight to something called the EB-5 Immigrant Investor Program. Now, this is the real deal, a formal, government-approved path, but it's also really misunderstood, so let's break down exactly what it is and, how it actually works. The most important thing to get here is why this program even exists. The US government didn't create it just so people could buy a personal vacation condo. Nope. It was specifically designed to boost the economy by getting investors to fund businesses that, and this is key, create jobs for Americans. Okay, so when you boil it all down, the whole process really comes down to these three basic steps. First, you have to invest in a project that's already got the green light from Immigration Services. Second, your money has to directly fund the creation of at least 10 full-time U.S. jobs. And third, if you check those boxes, then you and your immediate family can go ahead and apply for a green card. All right, let's talk money. This is where the details are absolutely crucial. Yeah, the numbers are big, but it's how that money works, how the investment is structured, that's really the key to understanding the whole program. $800,000. That's the magic number. That's the minimum investment required, but specifically for projects located in what the government calls targeted employment areas. You can just think of these as zones that the government really wants to see more economic growth and job creation in. And this right here is probably the most critical distinction to make. You are not buying an $800,000 apartment. That's not what this is. A better way to think about it is like you're making an at-risk loan to the business, to the development fund that's actually building the project. Your capital is what pays for the construction, the materials, the labor, and that's what ultimately creates those 10 jobs. So let's put it all together and look at the total financial picture. You've got that big number, the $800,000, which is your actual investment. And remember, that part is designed to be returned to you. But on top of that, there are other costs that are non-refundable. You've got project admin fees, you've got your legal and attorney fees, and the immigration filing fees. So all in, you're looking at a total initial outlay of around $906,600. And one last super important point on the money side of things. The government is going to want to see a paper trail. You can't just show up with a briefcase of cash. You absolutely have to provide clear, legal documentation that proves where the funds came from, whether it was from selling a property, from business profits, or even a documented inheritance. Okay, so you've navigated the investment, you've put up the capital. What's the payoff? What do you and your family actually get out of this whole process? Let's talk about the return on your investment. And I'm not just talking about the money here. Now, this is one of the biggest benefits of the entire program. A single EB-5 investment covers your whole immediate family. That means you, the main investor, your spouse, and all of your unmarried kids under 21 can each get a green card. Think about that. That opens up a world of opportunity for work, for school, for life in the US. Okay, listen up, because this next part is a massive development. Seriously. For years, investors would have their capital tied up for 5, sometimes even 7 years or more, but a pretty recent change in the regulations has completely changed the game, allowing certain projects to return your investment in just 2 years. That's a game changer. Just look at how this new timeline plays out. At year 0, you make the investment. And now, under these new rules, projects can be set up to give you your $800,000 back in just 2 years. What's so incredible about this is that you can get your capital back before your green card is even fully approved, which itself usually takes about 2 to 3 years. From there, you'd be looking at eligibility for U.S. citizenship about 5 years after getting your green card. This quote really gets to the heart of why so many families go down this road. It isn't always about packing up and moving tomorrow. For a lot of people, it's about building a plan B. It's that peace of mind, that security of knowing you have a solid solution ready for your family's future, no matter what happens back in your home country. So, let's say you've decided this is the right move for your family. The great thing is, the program actually gives you some flexibility in how you apply. And it really just depends on your own personal situation and how quickly you need things to happen. Basically, you've got 2 main paths you can take. The first is called consular processing. This is kind of the traditional route, where you apply from your home country through the U.S. consulate there. It's honestly perfect for that Plan B strategy we just talked about. But if you're already here in the U.S., maybe on a different visa, or you need to move right away, there's another option called adjustment of status. This lets you file your application from inside the United States, which can get you work and travel permits much, much faster while you wait. Phew! Okay, we have covered a lot of ground here. From the myths and the reality, to the costs, the benefits, and the whole process. So let's pull it all together one last time to help you figure out if this is a path that really makes sense for you. All right, so let's do a quick recap of the biggest takeaways. First, and most importantly, this is a business investment, not you buying a condo. The whole point is that your $800,000 loan creates at least 10 U.S. jobs. And the huge news? That investment can now be returned in as little as 2 years. All of this provides a green card for your spouse and your kids under 21. And finally, you've got flexible options on how to apply depending on your family's timeline. And all of that really leaves us with one final big question. When you think about it, with the largest piece of the financial puzzle, that $800,000 investment, now having a clear 2-year return path, has the EB-5 program evolved? Has it become maybe the most strategic plan B a family can make for their future?